I've been in this space for the last 13 years. I've seen drastic evolution of this space where there are multiple new careers, multiple courses that have come up. It is exciting to be in this space, and for the students especially, it's a lot of things that they can do. Education is the effect. The cause is how the industry is moving.
AI has started coming on the tip of the tongue of even young children when it comes to ChatGPT and a lot more. It's now more like AI everywhere. How is it emerging, and what's the scope of growth that you're seeing with AI?
I would say that there is a...
To all my dear listeners out there, a very good evening. I'm Ambitious, your host for today, representing ICAE. Welcome to our Friday podcast series, Beyond Borders Higher Ed Edition. Today, we are thrilled to discuss a very commonly asked topic about STEM and AI. That is the historical rise and the dominance of STEM, which is science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, and also the emerging popularity of artificial intelligence, known as AI. We have a very special guest with us, Mr. Aamir Masood. He's a well-known educator with a lot of experience in the career counseling field, and he's currently heading the University and Career Guidance Department at the Shiv Nadar Group. Thank you, Aamir, for coming with us today, and you will be throwing some light on this topic of STEM and AI for our young listeners out there.
Thank you, Anne, for having me. And it's a pleasure to interact with you on this topic, a particular topic that's close to my heart. So I've been in this space for the last 13 years, and I've seen a drastic evolution of this space where there are multiple new careers, multiple courses that have come up. And it is exciting to be in this space. And for the students especially, it's a lot of things that they can do.
Amazing. And in fact, with the experience that you have of the last 13 years, it would be great to know more from you about the STEM bit showed a rise from early 20th century. So what are the factors that actually played a role for STEM to grow and to come into dominance at this moment?
So I think if you look at history from that sense, you can say that late 1900s, when you had the Industrial Revolution, the rise of the Industrial Revolution, that played an important part. Then early 20th century, you had the World Wars. And it is quite an irony, but those World Wars actually played a very, very important part in the rise of STEM, because there was a race for power. And countries were focusing on how they can dominate in this world. And STEM was the way to go forward. So an invention that you can say, the multiple inventions that came into place, where like you can say the invention of the aeroplane, arms race. So yes, the World War played an important part. Then you can say the invention of the computers.
Okay.
In the 50s, the World Wide Web, that played, again, a significant role. And then you can say mobile devices coming into the picture, and from there, emails, and then social media, and then data centers. And then finally, you can say cloud computing.
Got it.
So these all would have played a significant impact in the rise of STEM.
That's in fact an interesting graph to see how I would say the entire STEM space has evolved. And like you mentioned, the World War bit, I definitely believe that the government policies, their funding must have impacted on this rise, and also for it to stay dominant in this field. So can you throw some light on it?
Right. So as I said, the World War played an important role where countries were fighting for dominance. And there, countries started making policies where they were starting building institutions. If you talk for India, though it was post-World War, of course, after we got independence. So you can say that in India, the establishment of the IITs in the 90s, IISc, then the IIMs. So all these institutions, building of these institutions are all government decisions. And then in terms of industries, you had companies like, or organizations like ISRO being funded by the government, and DRDO, which is the Defense and Research Organization, and then the CSIR, which is the Center for Science and Innovation and Research. So these all institutions and organizations played a very important role in the evolution of STEM. And then, of course, policies, the education policy. We had one policy in 86, and then 2020 saw the latest NEP, which is again focusing on experiential learning, which is part of STEM. So I think governments play a very important role in focusing the direction or shift towards STEM. And if not just about in education, but in every field from, let's say, healthcare.
Yes.
So in healthcare, STEM plays a very important role in terms of the equipments that have come into the picture, or the kind of operations or the testing that we are doing. All that is possible because of STEM.
Yeah.
And you can also talk about engineering. So engineering, we just had... let's say an example, if there was just an IT engineer earlier, today you have a coder, a programmer, a tester, a person who's talking to the client relationship officer over there. So it has impacted every field in that sense.
It did. In fact, I've seen a change with how the schools have started functioning because, like you mentioned, the NEP and the schools are now more focusing on experiential learning. They're also having robotic lab. They're having well-advanced computer labs and a lot more. And even if you look at the universities, which is there in India, not just overseas, they are also having a lot of research facilities and a lot more, which is kept open now for students who are young and are aspiring to do something more in this field. And also in the engineering bit, which you said, the change that I have seen is, like I'll just bring in AI here, that a lot of things has changed where students are now looking at robotics, mechatronics, and automotive engineering, and very much in detail towards, engineering, which is backed up with AI and which is the future now. So what do you think the future of engineering is going to look like with this backing up of STEM, with AI and STEM blending in together? So how is it going to look like?
So one, I just give a perspective on this, that education is the effect. The cause is how the industry is moving. So industrial revolution brought about a certain change as how education was transacted. And now we are, let's say, in the fourth industrial revolution. And now that is bringing about a change in how the education is going to be transacted now. And that's why you see that AI and experiential learning is coming into the curriculum. And to be honest, it's not STEM anymore. It is STEAM, where it has become interdisciplinary, and arts, because of AI also, the arts has taken a place in that STEAM. And why that is important is because AI requires technology, requires the science behind it, but it also requires cognitive science behind it, where how humans interact and respond. So I see the future of engineering where there is a lot of collaboration between the humans, between the environment, and between machines. So it is not concentrated in one particular way or in one particular field, but it is a collaborative effort and a collaborative function of all these things together.
Okay, so it's more of blending in multiple factors and bringing them towards a better outcome or a better unified figure. That's it.
Right.
Okay. So with the rise of STEAM, as you say, but what is the career opportunities that is available and what's the growth to it?
I think that now n numbers of possibilities that are there because we have so many options right now, and I can give examples of that. So earlier, you just had a doctor. You started off with just a doctor who would do everything. Then you had specialist doctors.
Yes.
So you had a physician, a dermatologist, oncologist, a gynecologist. Then you moved on to other applied sciences where you had radiologists, you have lab technicians, clinical psychologists are coming into the picture. So there are multiple possibilities within each domain. So healthcare has expanded with that. Engineering, I've already talked about that you've got specialists over there also with coders, testers, programmers, developers. In fields like even design. With design, you've again got multiple options that have come up with people into just sketching to 2D animation to 3D animation or graphics or the modeling part or the sculpting part or the animation part. So there are specialist roles that have evolved. No more, I think it is a field of generalist. It is an era of specialist. But having said that, being a specialist is a thing, but the knowledge of diverse fields and curriculums is important.
Yeah.
Interdisciplinary approach is important. And the outcome of that you become a specialist in one particular field.
Yes. In fact, all these fields are definitely contributing to the economy and I would say to the global economy because everyone is working in different parts of the world. And can you throw some light on it? How is it helping the economy?
Yeah, absolutely. See, economy doesn't work in silos. So there is demand. And if there is supply to it, that's how the economy rises to it, right? So when you see how India is becoming a superpower is because that we've had advancements in STEM.
Yes.
And we've had advancement in STEAM as well. Countries which were at a similar position like us in the last 20 years, I think we've outpaced them to almost 50 years. They are now 50 years behind us. And the major reason for that is that the government has initiated organizations and institutions that were working in that path, which were working towards that future growth. So it's all cascading effect. So whatever seeds you sow today will have an impact in the future. So it's not that you bring in a change today and it'll impact your economy. It is something that you've done about 20, 30, or even 50 years ago that has now, you're reaping the fruits of those.
I completely agree to it. Reason being, we are seeing how India has started developing and not just in education, but in healthcare. If you even look at the airline management, the railway management, and a lot more factors have changed. And it's just growing and developing from where we were back 2-3 decades ago. And also, AI as a word was usually used when it was a platform, whether it was a SaaS or something more where people were asking, oh, is it AI backed? Is AI there? And a lot more. AI, I would say, has started coming on the tip of the tongue of even young children when it comes to ChatGPT and a lot more.
Yeah,
but
the lingo is.
Yes, it's now more like AI everywhere. So how is it emerging and what's the scope of growth that you're seeing with AI?
So I would say that there is a negative connotation also to it and a positive one also. One, it is being overused and overhyped. Young kids are just saying that I want to get into AI. But AI is not just something or a career that you just get into without having a base. So it is important to have a specialization.
Yes.
Have a core competency and then take up AI as a specialization or you can say an ancillary thing. So it can be supportive or it can be something that you are working towards as a specialization. But for that specialization, you need to have a core competency. You can't just get into AI courses. There are many institutes that have come up with the AI courses, and those are supporting your actual degree. But not as in your undergrad, you start off with just an AI course. or in your curriculum in school that you just do AI. It can be a supportive function where you are understanding the applications of it. But to get deeper involved into it, you have to understand and have an expert knowledge in statistics, in programming, coding, cognitive sciences. These are like the basis of AI.
Yep. In fact, with the growth of AI, do you feel that the human factor, which is added to the workforce, which is added at multiple aspects now in the global world scenario, will that be diminishing with the rise of AI?
Well, that is something, and that is already happening. And that's not just because of AI, that is because of the extra use of technology in our day-to-day lives. And probably I would say mobile devices have made it, how do I say it? Mobile devices have
Addictive?
made people addictive and shortened the attention spans.
Absolutely.
So even if you have a conversation with Gen Z, you find that it is difficult to have a half an hour conversation with them.
True.
5 minutes into the conversation, that's also long. You've actually lost them if you're not able to make that connection. So attention spans have really gone low, and anyone can see this. It is no rocket science. You see that movies that are watched in the theaters have reduced because people don't have that attention. People are watching movies on their OTT platforms, and they are watching them in breaks. So you're not watching them continuously. Even if you look at the data of the OTTs, you will find that majority of the movies are being watched in intervals, and people are watching them at their own pace. So yes, it is a disadvantage where people are getting also disconnected with the human touch, and AI will probably increase that. That is the harsh reality. So somehow we will have to figure out a way where AI exists, but with the human touch. So I would say let's not replace people, but embrace technology as an enabler.
Yeah. Got it. That is keeping a balance, but having the human factor going on. Completely agree with you here. In fact, because you have been a career counselor, and in the decade you have seen where students have wrote essays, you have read them, and the essays have evolved. Now with ChatGPT coming in, I have heard many counselors say, initially, even when I was a counselor, plagiarism was something that we used to say that don't let it not be there, let it not be there. But now with ChatGPT coming in and a lot of help that students are getting in. See, technology is something like you said, it can be used, it can be misused as well. So as a counselor, what do you think AI is doing to the students and in their overall application? Is it affecting their, I'd say their growth or their normal tone on how they did it? Or are they using it as a support or misusing it? What's your thoughts on it?
So it completely depends on person to person and how your values have been inculcated. So I would say that first of all, we need to ask the admission representatives. And I think no admission representative would say that we focused on, just the how the essay was written.
Yeah.
I think the how the essay was written was just one part of it. The element of an essay was the content of the essay. And no matter what, an AI cannot make the content for you.
True.
Right?
True.
So the content has to be yours. So it is your journey, your experiences that have to reflect in your essay. So if students are using ChatGPT, it's fine. Till the time they're able to express their stories, their stories are coming out properly. So, and the admission rep would know that, okay, they're focusing also on what they're trying to say rather than how they're saying it. So I think that change has come about. I think earlier they also would also focus more, not more, but a percentage of that they would focus on how it was written. But now they would also understand that with ChatGPT, that structure and style of writing can be made much, much better. So they would have started focusing more on the content of it and think of, okay, this student is saying that I have done this and they have achieved this through this. So it would make more sense. The experience part makes more sense.
Yeah, so mainly maintaining the essence of it till the end would be great. So how is AI being integrated into STEM?
AI has been integrated into everything. So, and I can give you examples. So if you're, let's say you're talking about healthcare. So data is being collected wherever you go and visit a doctor or go to a path lab to get your test done. All the data is being recorded, and then it is being used to provide you personalized recommendations and prescriptions based on that. If you're looking at anything, even your shopping. So your shopping on any platform gets tracked, the data is collected, and based on your preferences, you are given future options. So AI is being integrated in every field based on that. So it is trying to make your life easy and also trying to make it more customized and personalized.
What are the key differences for STEM-based traditional approach curricula and AI-based curricula?
So STEM-based curriculum focuses on the traditional science, maths, engineering, technology, and AI integrates these and makes it more interdisciplinary, adds cognitive sciences to it, adds the behavioral aspects to it. So it's integrated and interdisciplinary.
Got it. And how are universities and schools, institutions implementing it, keeping ethical considerations in mind?
Right. I think that is something that every school and university is working on, every institute is working on. When you are talking to students about code of conduct, ethics, and ethics has become part of the curriculum within schools and universities, and you are talking about ethical dilemmas also. And I believe students are now more aware of these because there is a whole talk around it. And whenever you have something that is being talked about, there is a discussion around it, you become more conscious of it. So I think students now have started being more conscious about it. And it should be, I would say, just propagated in the right way. It should not look as if AI is a threat or it's a villain. It should be treated as a companion.
Okay. In fact, STEM, AI, what are the factors that students have to keep in mind when they choose from it?
Well, as I said, the future is, or the present is actually STEAM, and AI is a further advancement of STEAM. Okay. So you cannot differentiate the two and say that, I'll just go AI. AI without STEAM is nothing. So STEAM has to be part or the base foundation of AI, and STEM is a traditional and conventional approach which has to change to STEAM if you're not doing that.
You have worked with multiple curriculum schools, and what is the newest trend that you're seeing? To which direction are students getting more inclined to? What kind of subjects they're more inclined to now?
Earlier, when in India the conventional approach was stream-based approach, that has now changed to, again, interdisciplinary approach. So that has definitely changed, and skill building has come up, where because even the NAP is focusing on that. So each curriculum is also focusing on that, developing skills in the students. The World Economic Forum talks about it, and there are 21st century skills, about 10 of them that the World Economic Forum focuses on. And this is becoming part and parcel of majority of the progressive schools. So you are doing activities, and it's an activity-based curriculum that is happening. So that's the shift I see, and students are embracing them with open arms.
That's nice. And it's an interesting, I would say, interesting growth that we are seeing in students. And they have evolved from where they were just sticking to 4 or 5 subjects or just a particular stream. But now, like you said, interdisciplinary students are choosing their majors and minors, which are entirely different. They are selecting their school subjects also, which are kind of different, and blending in together and building a career out of it. ChatGPT 4.0. What's the future you see?
So, well, ChatGPT, all thanks to Sam Altman and his vision, his work through OpenAI. So, ChatGPT, everyone is using these days, from I think teenagers to adults, even adolescents these days are using it. So I feel they've from generative text to images to videos. The future is thoughts. So where you think about things and propositions, and you have answers to your thoughts, and probably also sometimes in remembering our thoughts or remembering our memories. So that is, and work has already started on this. So it is, I would say, the future is just around the corner. I think in terms of technology, what we will soon see is that right now you're using AI in terms of speaking. Your gestures are also covered now. So your thoughts will act as stimulators or giving the ordering function. So whatever you think that switch on the light, and the light will be on, that is what the future of AI is.
Future definitely looks cool. Elon Musk recently said AI will take all our jobs. How can students be made future ready?
I'd say that it's a sweeping statement, and it's a nice statement to have attraction. But that's his perspective. What I've read and what the World Economic Forum report says for the jobs of 2030, that a lot of jobs will be replaced by AI, but double the jobs that it replaces will be created. So let's say if 50 jobs are replaced by AI, there'll be 100 new jobs that will be created. So for students, it is important to evolve. It is important to adapt. It is important to change with time and be constantly updated with what is happening. So if you take the example of, let's say technology field, where yes, testers are becoming redundant. You don't need testers anymore. Similarly, coders will also get redundant, but the developer will stay, because the idea of what to innovate still remains. So like that, in every case, it happens. And we've seen that in the past also, where technology has come, it has replaced a few jobs, but it has also created newer jobs. If you take, for example, agriculture. So we've been producing food for the last 10,000 years, where the dawn of the new humans, where we started producing agriculture. We moved from hunter-gatherers to people who could produce food. And that's been happening for 10,000 years. What has changed with technology is the way we produce. So of late, in the last 10 years, you would have seen hydroponics and aquaponics. So it will change how it is done, but it will continue happening. And you can also see that with meat, where you have lab-grown meat.
Yes, plant-based
meat and lab-grown meat. So that has also come into the picture. So yes, change will take place. So you have to stay constantly updated with things.
Completely agree with you here. Before we conclude, one piece of advice for the students out there before they make a decision.
Well, that's a difficult one, just one piece of advice. But I would say on that, don't blindly follow the trend. Don't just say that, I want to get into data science, I want to become an expert in artificial intelligence. Follow your passion. uh, be true to yourself. So there is immense scope in every field these days. AI is supporting every field. It is an enabler for every field. So follow your passion. Don't get pressurized by what is happening in the world and what is trending. That, if you are not a coder, you won't be anything. If you don't know AI, you won't be anything. No, that's not how it is.
In fact, the world is open for a lot more than just STEM and AI. So, yes, thank you so much, Aamir, for joining us today, and your years of experience and your vast level of knowledge, I'm sure, has helped our young listeners out there. Thank you once again for your time. And thank you for tuning in, all our young listeners out there. This is Andrecious, your host, signing off for today. Have a nice day.